January 6, 2021, the day Democrats used to target, censor, and jail MAGA, had a lot more federal involvement than many previously knew. 274. That's the number of plainclothes agents on the Capitol grounds that day. 274. Think about it. 274 plainclothes agents is more than double the number of Capitol police officers normally assigned to protect the entire Capitol complex on a given shift. 274 is more than the entire police force of Alexandria, Virginia. 274 is more than the number of active duty personnel on an entire Navy destroyer. It's more than 3 companies of Army infantry soldiers. 274 is more than the average graduating class at the FBI Academy. PBS News is typically less reliable than your daily horoscope. When the Department of Justice Office of Inspector General reported that there were a couple dozen confidential human sources involved in January 6th, but no undercover FBI agents were present, they took that occasion to call people like me conspiracy theorists. But based on what we've learned now, the word undercover was doing a heck of a lot of work because the FBI didn't consider plainclothes agents undercover agents. Just think about that. The people protesting on January 6th were plain people wearing plain clothes. To say that plainclothes agents weren't undercover agents is a deceptive sleight of hand by the Department of Justice, its Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, and anyone else who adopted that theory. FBI Director Kash Patel is now saying his predecessor, Christopher Wray, lied to Congress on the subject. Here's Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs asking a direct question and getting a deceptive response.
I thought I heard you say you didn't know whether there were FBI agents or informants or human sources in the Capitol or in the vicinity on January 6th. Did I misunderstand you? I thought that's what you said.
Well, I referred very specifically to undercover agents.
Yeah. And so are you acknowledging then there were undercover agents?
As I sit here right now, I do not believe there were undercover agents.
President Trump has weighed in on Truth Social. Quote, FBI agents were at and in the January 6th protests, probably acting as agitators and insurrectionists, but certainly not as law enforcement officials. I want to know who each and every one of these so-called agents are and what they were up to on that now historic day. Many great American patriots were made to pay a very big price only for the love of their country. I owe this investigation of dirty cops and crooked politicians to them. Christopher Wray, the then FBI director, has some major explaining to do. Wray's predecessor, James Comey, has been indicted for lying to Congress. Could Christopher Wray be the next to be indicted? The FBI directorship may soon look a lot like the Illinois governorship. When a Democrat leaves, or someone associated with them at least, they get indicted. We don't think that'll happen to Kash. 1 year after January 6, 2021, Marjorie Taylor Greene and I explained to the country that this wasn't an insurrection. If anything, it was a Fedsurrection.
January 6 last year wasn't an insurrection. No one has been charged with insurrection. No one has been charged with treason. But it very well may have been a Fedsurrection.
Here at the Capitol security breach, we don't know how many federal informants, FBI agents of people in other agencies. We don't know those numbers because we have a January 6th committee that is unwilling and refusing to ask those serious questions.
So we were saying these things January 6, 2022, and when we made these claims, all of which we now know to be true, we were viciously attacked by, of all people, self-proclaimed ethics watchdogs. The Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington castigated those of us who alleged strong federal involvement in January 6th. They too said it was a conspiracy. But I knew it wasn't because I had taken the deposition of George Hill, a former Boston FBI agent. He sought additional evidence from the Washington field office and was told they wouldn't give it to him because their agents and confidential human sources would be exposed. There was never a question in my mind whether the FBI had a voluminous presence on January 6th. The question is whether those FBI agents and assets increased the criminal activity on that day to ensnare others.